Have you ever seen a person who, upon entering a room, immediately draws everyone's attention towards themselves? People naturally start paying attention to them. They want to talk to them, they want to listen to them. The presence of that person is the most powerful among everyone in the room. On the other hand, there are some people whose presence has no impact on others despite their efforts. Not only do people not listen to them carefully, they don't even look at them once. You might be thinking that this difference is due to confidence or personality, but the truth is something else. It is not just a matter of confidence or luck. It is a skill. It is an art that you can also learn. It is a skill that allows anyone to easily become friendly, influential, and socially powerful. And this is the skill taught by Dale Carnegie in his book How to Win Friends and Influence People, which was published almost 90 years ago. Yet even today, all its points remain valid. Today's with your own eyes. Let's start with section number 1. Think about it. Whenever you're talking to someone, your brain focuses intensely on a very specific thing. When you are talking to someone, your brain pays a lot of attention to a very specific thing. Am I sounding right? I hope I didn't say it wrong. If later he asks me this question, I will give him this answer. All the things I just mentioned are actually the default mode of every human being. It keeps running in their mind. That's why in every conversation, people think not about you, but about themselves. And this is the biggest secret of influence. If you want people to feel connected to you, just let them talk about themselves. Let them feel important. And I want to tell you this with some facts as well. Research from the Department of Psychology at Harvard says that 60% of conversation is solely about talking about oneself. That means whenever you talk to someone, they just like to talk about their life, their problems, and their successes. And whenever you sincerely listen to someone, their subconscious signals to them that this person understands me, cares about me, and gives me their time. And you won't believe it. Just by listening to people, your likability index increases significantly. This means that the less you talk about yourself and the more you ask others about their lives, the more people will be drawn to you. I can explain this to you better with a real-life example. Warren Buffett, who is one of the most successful investors in the world, when I was reading about him, I found out that in every meeting and every discussion, he always listens to everyone before speaking more. Whether the person is older than him or younger, he will definitely listen to what they have to say. And I found this very interesting, because when you imagine a founder, a CEO-level person, or a boss, you usually picture someone who does all the talking. He keeps ordering that this work should be done today, deadlines must not be missed at all. But Warren Buffett is completely the opposite. He only asks questions to others. He tries to understand them and then makes his own decision. And for this reason, people naturally respect him a lot. And this is the very first rule of core psychology. Always, always, always listen to others. Next comes rule number 2, the power of a genuine smile. Science has proven this many times that whenever someone looks at you, in their mind they think about you. The first impression is made in just 7 seconds. Whether you are a friendly person or arrogant, weak or strong, the mind of the person facing you decides before even talking to you. And do you know what plays the biggest role in this? The expressions on your face. So, a genuine smile creates a hello effect. It means when you smile, people automatically begin to perceive you as friendly, more confident, and more trustworthy. This is a kind of evolutionary trigger, because a smile non-verbally signals that you are a safe and positive energy person. A study was conducted in which people were shown 2 different profile pictures. One person had a very serious face and the other had a slight smile. When people were asked who seemed the most friendly and who could they connect with the best, 90% of people said the person with a smiling face was trustworthy and likable. Next comes rule number 3, the magic of names. If someone calls you directly by your name, you pay a little more attention. You automatically start liking them a little more. Now, why does this happen? Because hearing our own name feels the most pleasing to our brain. This is because everyone's name holds the most personal feelings for them. There are many neuroscience studies that prove that whenever someone says your name, the emotional center of your brain, called the amygdala, becomes active. The clear implication of this is that people have an emotional attachment to their name. I want to give you a pro tip. If you want people to like you, start using their names frequently and naturally in conversation. This is a simple yet very powerful psychological tactic that will greatly help increase your influence.
Now, all are entirely concepts from quick psychology that form the basis of any kind of influence. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret formula that you can use to instantly win people's hearts. This formula is called ICE, which you can use to instantly attract anyone. Here, I stands for interest. Most people think that influencing someone means talking more, showcasing your achievements, or saying something that greatly impresses the other person, make a greater impact. Now, thinking that this doesn't apply to you is not entirely wrong, because most of us have been shown this since childhood. In movies, the heroes has some extraordinary dialogue to create a hero effect, and people stand up and start applauding. But in real life, the reality is completely the opposite. There is a world of difference between films and real life. In real life, the less you talk about yourself and the more you listen to others, the more people will like you. Now, I will tell you some very simple practical steps to do this. Next time you meet someone, step out of main character mode and completely shift to side character mode. Your questions and conversations should be about the other person's life, not your own, such as, what do you do? So, how does your day usually go? What's your schedule like? And brother, how have you been? Haven't seen you around lately. Everything okay? Actually, you need to take an interest there and modulate your voice in the same way. This modulation may seem very difficult to hear, but it is actually a very simple thing. Just practice in front of a mirror for 5 minutes and ask the same question repeatedly to 5 people, and you will gain confidence. Now, let's talk about the next letter in our formula, C, which stands for charisma. Have you ever felt that even without meeting certain people, you get a unique vibe from them? It feels somewhat pleasant. Now, why does this happen? The answer is the mirroring effect. Whatever person matches your body language, tone, energy, or emotions, you immediately feel a strong connection with them. This is actually a natural psychological response. We humans always imitate or act like mirrors. If a song is playing in a crowd and 10 people start dancing to it, then in front of us, so we too will soon start standing there and slowly begin to vibe off. A study says that whenever people match each other's body language and tone, their subconscious mind gives the signal that this person is exactly like me. That is why I can trust them and feel a connection with them. Now, to practice this more effectively, I will tell you a 3-second rule. In any conversation, just pause for 3 seconds in between and adjust yourself with these 3 steps. In the first step, notice their body language and start mirroring it sincerely. If they are in a relaxed position, set yourself in the same way. In the second step, slightly match their voice and the speed at which they speak. If they are speaking in a very soft tone, respond in exactly the same way. There's no need to shout or speak in an overly enthusiastic manner. Then in the third step, reflect their emotions. If they are very excited or speaking with great happiness about something, try to be excited too. You wouldn't believe that this tiny 3-second adjustment can make a huge difference in your conversation. And the last thing comes in the formula E, which stands for the most important thing, ego, is what does it? So my friend, how does ego come into play in any conversation? If the person in front of you says something wrong, or if your thoughts do not align with theirs, getting caught up in proving them wrong is exactly ego. And 90% of people make this exact mistake. In the cycle of ego, they start reacting. They begin to complain and criticize. Dale Carnegie in this book mentioned a very beautiful line, that even the toughest criminals believe they are innocent. So then why waste time cursing? I mean, whenever you criticize someone, point out their mistakes, what is their very first reaction? Instead of protecting themselves and accepting their mistake, they start ignoring you. Meaning, no matter how right you are, if the way you criticize is wrong, the other person will never listen to you. I give an example from life. If a boss constantly points out their team's mistakes without any appreciation, they will start feeling discouraged. They will begin to speak ill of the boss behind his back, they will start to complain about him, and gradually over time, they will become a bit sluggish in their work. But if the same boss first properly appreciates their work and then points out areas for improvement, people will find it even more encouraging and will take his suggestions and criticisms positively. Never blame anyone. Instead, encourage them. Even if someone has made a mistake, give them a chance to correct it first. These small changes now will help you a lot over time in gradually becoming a naturally influential person. After that, I want to give 2 more bonus points for the viewers here. The very first bonus point is the yes momentum technique. This is a very famous technique of the FBI. It says that no person is suddenly convinced of anything. But if you get them small yes statements out of them, their mind will automatically start agreeing with whatever you say next. There are negotiators, who primarily deal with criminals for the security of hostages. So these people first get them to agree to small things. Like for example, they might say that if your demands are met, our condition is also that everyone stays safe. Then the response from the other side comes as yes. After this comes their next question. Then they might say that, do you also want us to sit down for a session and resolve this without any violence, without using any weapons? It's possible that the answer from the other side comes back as yes. After this comes their third and most important step. Then they might say that, if I give you a solution that fulfills your demands as well as keep our hostages safe, would you like to hear it?
Will you do it? Even for this, the answer from the other person will always be yes, and after that, whatever offer you make, the chances of them agreeing increase by 99%. Because whenever a person goes into a yes mode, they let down their resistance, making it even easier to influence them. You can use this in real life as well. If you want to sell your product or service to a client, never make a direct offer. First, ask small yes questions. Tell them this: "Sir, is your time your most valuable asset?" Then ask them, "Do you also want the product or service quality to be absolutely top-notch?" And finally, shoot your third arrow by saying, "If I give you an option that fits your budget, is of the highest quality, and also saves your time, would you consider it seriously?" Remember, the more small yes responses you get, the more the other person will start agreeing with you. This is truly a very interesting thing. Be sure to try it yourself. In your next conversation, try getting 2 to 3 small yes responses and then present your point. And later, make sure to come back and comment on this video whether it worked. After that, the second bonus point is the power of storytelling. Look, there is a difference between presenting the same information in a boring way, like we were taught in school, and presenting it as an interesting story. Let me explain this to you in a simple line. Facts inform, but stories sell. If you pay attention in life, stories are everywhere, from books to real life and from movies to music videos. But have you ever wondered why stories don't always work without emotions? Look, our brain can remember stories 22% more than facts. Why? Because whenever a person tells a story, not only are the words processed in our brain, but emotions are also felt. I have a very interesting example of this. When Steve Jobs launched the iPhone for the first time, he didn't give some text details like everyone else. Rather, he narrated a story in which he made this device the central hero of the story. While describing the iPhone, he said that it is a device that can fit in your pocket and combines an iPod, a phone, and the internet all in one. And it is not just a device, but will be a revolution. No one in the tech industry has ever shown the storytelling ability of Steve Jobs, and the result was that people immediately connected with him, and the iPhone became the world's most successful product. Point number 3, the art of persuasion. Now, persuasion or influence does not mean forcibly trying to make someone agree with you. True persuasion occurs when you plant an idea in someone else's mind and they themselves think, "Hey, this idea was actually mine." The principles written in this book by Dale Carnegie teach us that influencing people is a kind of subtle art in which you help change their thinking by understanding their psychology. And if you also want people to agree with you, then you should definitely master these 3 persuasion hacks. Number 1, give people a reputation that they will strive to live up to. When you give someone an identity, they start to behave according to it. Suppose you want a colleague to complete a task quickly. Do not directly say, "Hey, get this work done quickly." Instead, give them a reputation. Tell them something like, Friend, I know, brother, that when it comes to deadlines, I simply cannot rely on anyone else but you. You're the one person who is always trustworthy. What will happen now is that their mind will accept this recognition somewhere or the other. Even if they are not punctual in life, when they are given a reputation, they will definitely work to maintain it. Next comes the second method of persuasion, so that the other person feels that it is their own idea. The main reason why people reject someone's opinion is not that the idea is wrong, but that it is not their own idea. Our ego is very big. Therefore, if you want to persuade someone to do something, don't directly tell them that they should do it. Instead, guide them in such a way that they feel it was their own decision all along. I will explain this with an example as well. Imagine you want to suggest to your team member not to change the approach of a project and instead follow a different method. What would be the wrong approach here? It would be to directly tell them, I think you should do this task in this way. On the other hand, what would be the correct approach? Buddy, you have a lot of experience with this. Considering your experience, tell me, buddy, how can we do this task even more efficiently? Do you have a better way to do it? Now, what would saying this do? The other person will come up with a solution themselves, and even if their solution somewhat resembles your idea, they will accept it without resistance. This means no harm is done, and both parties are happy. Now comes the last persuasion hack, which is the 1% rule of criticism. The biggest mistake people make in persuading others is that they hurt the ego of the other person in some way. If you want to criticize someone, never tell them directly to their face. But everyone wants their dignity to be maintained among people in life, and if you directly tell someone that he is wrong, he will go into ego defense mode and will not accept anything you say. Suppose you want to explain to your junior that the report they have prepared is not very good. A wrong way to do this would be to say, this report is quite weak. You need to work more on it. On the other hand, a better approach could be, hey, I really like this part of your report. Your hard work is evident here. Just a small suggestion, if you can improve this, it would be great. Behind this approach is a lovely piece of psychology. Whenever you first give someone a small compliment and then provide a minor suggestion, the other person tends to see it as an opportunity for improvement rather than criticism. Social skills are a superpower, and Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, gives you that very superpower. Just think about that. You have just learned a formula that the most influential people in the world have used. All successful people, whether they are CEOs, politicians, or top influencers, share one thing in common. People listen to them, respect them, and their presence is very powerful. But most people consider this to be just luck. In reality, the game is all about psychology. But brother, just listening won't do anything.
It will remain just another piece of good knowledge in your mind, which may give motivation for a day, but you'll soon forget it. So go ahead, implement it today and change your life. Become a better person from tomorrow. That was all for today's video. I hope you're enjoying this audiobook summary. Make sure to tell me in the comments which book I should decode next. Keep working hard, keep learning, and always stay inspiring.